Like, yeah, because with people that have ADHD, some of them they don't like food, right? They just like they don't like the texture of food, they don't like eating, they don't like cooking. It's like, oh, there's like all that ta task initiation when it comes to cooking, grocery shopping, it's overwhelming for them. They like even like gag when they eat food or like just chewing and all that stuff is just like they don't enjoy it, right? It's like a very awful experience for them. So then in that case, like what do you think would be good for like what should they eat? Like do you think like when you said like the creatine powder is a thing? Because with that it's just like I think like those people they need like calories in there.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's finding ways to get it in them, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And I mentioned that too. So I would 100%, it would be creatine in your water and be drinking that all day and just keep filling it up. But obviously, even just drinking water can sometimes be challenging. Um,
Yeah, because but then with creatine, right? Like
yeah.
it's because doesn't it helps make you full? And at the end, right? Like for certain people, they need calories. So if like the
Yeah.
protein is like satiating them, they're not gonna wanna.
Uh, I mean, it depends because some
Yeah.
people say like creatine sort of makes them feel a little bit bloated. Some people they don't say that at all. Like, so I think it's individual for each person, but it's more about like giving your body what it actually needs. So if that person is getting the protein that they need throughout the day, then they're not necessarily going to like they're going to feel better, right? Their focus is going to be better. They're going to feel a little bit better anyway, and it's a way to get to fortify, right? To add, like it's that concept, we talked about just like how do we pack in as much protein, fat, and fiber into eat that person in a day. But in this case, so the one way for the protein, yes, creatine in the water. Maybe another way, and we were just talking about that too, just like having a smoothie ready to go, which I know is difficult for some people who don't want to do it, um, in the fridge where they can just like chuck some, sort of non-dairy milk, or like you were talking about the coconut kefir as well, and putting that in there just to add the fat. And even just frozen avocado is a big one that I love because it's easy and it gets the fat in there, and just put a couple of cubes and then blending that up. I think the problem is when some people like don't like smoothies, and that's the other piece. So, and that's where creatine is actually really great because it's not like a protein powder, because a lot of people don't like the grittiness of the protein powder, or they taste it like there's an aftertaste.
Because even with collagen powder, it also
Yeah.
has like a funky taste too.
Yeah, so it's like you have to sort of watch that in terms of what their preferences are, but just even experimenting and see what works. Like bone broth is another really good one, not only for protein, but for like glutamine, which is really amazing for healing your gut lining, which most of us with ADHD have gut stuff going on. So it supports that. And it's not like too filling, and it's easy. Like you can either just chuck it in the microwave and heat it up if you want and drink it out of a mug. Um, and if somebody is open to having soups, some people really like the blended soups, and you can blend some veggies in there too, like with an immersion blender with some bone broth, and like you're set, right? You don't have to think too much, and it can just be like 2 ingredients, 3 ingredients, and do that. And you can freeze it and then just chuck it into a bowl or a mug and heat it up in the microwave. Like that's another way too. But again, that takes a little bit more practice. But that's like something that we sit down and talk about is how, and I can work out for them. Like once we have an understanding of what their schedule is and what their life is like and what they can and refuse to do and what they're okay doing, and setting them up with a plan where, you know, let's make this as easy as possible for you, but let's figure out how to get more nutrition into your body. Um, so that's a couple of ways.